let it go, let it go, let it go. I like that, y'all. I like that, y'all.
Hey there, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Hey there, crypto friends, how are we doing out there? I have a special presentation for you tonight. I'm going to go over a special edition, I call it. I'm going to go over some things that you may consider as a recent decline in price. So a couple things that are really important to understand, I think, going forward. So I'll do all this first, and then we'll get to the going through all the tickers and things like that. As you see on the screen, the biggest headline for the day come out from Reuters. I call them ruiners. China bans financial payment institutions for crypto business. Look down here. A little bit further. There we go. This was all the way back in June 2019. Why did they send this out today? Because they're piling on to, there's a certain push to get the price down. So either institutions are trying to get back in at a lower cost, or there's some underlying reason that they have put together. Yeah, this is old news. This happened back, I think it was, what did it say, 2019? I thought it was 2018. But yeah, we went through that a while back. So discount that FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Let's have a look at another one. Elon Musk says Tesla will stop accepting Bitcoin for car purchases, citing environmental concerns. Then there was a lot of FUD around that Elon and Tesla sold all their Bitcoin. Well, have a look here. Tesla will not be selling any Bitcoin, and we intend to use it for transactions as soon as mining transitions to a more sustainable energy, etc., etc. And then it goes on to say they did it for environmental reasons, and I have a theory for that. So I want to show you, if you're not familiar with SpaceX or Starlink, that's Elon's company. They're putting a whole entire constellation of satellites in space for Wi-Fi, high-speed broadband Wi-Fi. And my theory is it's going to be SpaceX and Starlink's intention to mine cryptocurrency in space. Because one of the reasons that Tesla indicated they needed to back away from Bitcoin at the moment, they only said they suspended it, they didn't terminate it, is environmental concern. So it takes a lot of energy to mine Bitcoin and a lot of the cryptocurrencies, and also the environmental impact, the carbon footprint it leaves behind is not that great. So my theory is that they will be announcing soon that they will be mining, I'm not sure which coin yet, probably going to include Doge, but particularly Bitcoin, Doge. They're going to mine this thing in space. They can capture the energy from the sun and not worry about heat or anything like that in outer space. And they already have the constellation of communication satellites up there to carry out all the nodes necessary to do so. So that's one theory. And second thing I wanted to show you, that first a lot of people were saying, well, the shorts piled in. No, the shorts did not pile in. As you can see here, the longs were liquidated. So people got too greedy, over-leveraged, 2.18 billion of longs. So people taking the futures long got liquidated. And then we'll knock that down. I'll show you another stat here. And then also the short interest is actually down. So it was not the short interest that piled in and won. It's actually liquidation, things like that. And so last thing I'll leave you with is there's a thing called psychology of the market cycle, and this is commonly used and experienced in the stock market. So basically it works is, first you buy in, you have hope, it starts going up, you have optimism, then you start to believe, yeah, I did the right thing, and then you're thrilled. And we just got into that, right? So we got into euphoria, where you just keep buying and buying and buying, and you're just making more and more money. And then after a while, that euphoria wears off, comes down, and then bounce up, say, okay, well, that was just a time to cool off. It'll be fine. And then it starts to go down. You get an anxiety. It's like, oh God, I'm getting margin call. The dip's too long. I didn't expect it. And then you deny that it's happening. Then you panic. Oh shit, everybody's selling. I need to get out. And then you get mad at it. You start calling manipulation, and you start blaming it on Elon Musk and the government and all these other things. And then, boom, this is capitulation. Down at the bottom, this is where I think we are right now. Is people got overextended. You know, they were borrowing money to invest in cryptocurrency and all those kind of things. And not only that, some of the exchanges in overseas, I don't think you can do it here in the U.S. legally, but they do offer 100 times your investment or 100 times your initial deposit to invest, which means that if you make one mistake, not only do you lose your investment money, but you owe them money. So if you have any other accounts going, you have to liquidate them as well to pay for it. So that's my little spiel on there. I just wanted to come on a little bit early and explain those things away. And we'll have a look at the charts, and I'll kind of do some more explanation as we go along. And let's move on. We are looking at BTC USD, only down now 8.40%. So if you were riding a wave early on at about 7 a.m., you're really like me. It's like, oh wow, that's $30,000. So it actually dipped just below that, I think. But we made our way back up to currently the price is 39,177.11, and then so good run back up. But the altcoins are still peeling off. So we'll go over that here in just a second. So we're looking at BTC USD, looking at support to hold at 37,004.55, and we'll have resistance coming up through 40,887.45 USD for BTC. And I will mention before we go forward, we had a lot of money. We have 10% in the BTC market cap, so that tells us that money left the altcoin space into BTC. So what that means is people probably panic sold into BTC to put it in a more stable environment, which makes a lot of sense. So we'll look at that here later on. Let's have a look at ETH USD Ethereum, down 21%, and we're looking at support to hold up at the 2,566.01. And resistance is going to be the 2797.05. And we are oversold, so we could see a good bounce here. If Bitcoin can continue to stay strong, it's like a magnet that pulls everything up with it. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Volume is increasing here on Ethereum, and we're in good shape for a bounce. Got a ways up till we get to these moving averages here on the 4 hour, so there is some room to run up. We'll move on to BNB USD, down 25%, and looking at support to hold 360.32 and resistance at the 417.488. As you can see, I have some new targets here set up, and so we're going to look for a higher low to be set, and then we'll engage into this trade and then trail everything along with a stop. But right now we're just going sideways. You see this indecision candle tells us that we need to pause for a minute, sit on our hands, and see what's happening. But we are oversold on the RSI down to 20.53. 30 is usually the oversold indicator for relative strength index. Let's move on to ADA, Cardano. Nice bounce down here off Cardano. So we're looking at support to hold 1.418. and resistance at the 1.665 as we're starting to climb right into it now. Looking up there at that 100-day moving average, that's going to be a challenge for us. So we'll see how we can get through there for Cardano. Moving on to PolkaDot, DOT, USD. Support down there at the 24.407 and resistance up at the 31.158. Same thing here. Oversold, but volume is very light at the moment for DOT. Let's have a look at the Doge. It's been a while since it's been all the way down to 35. Where are we at? 0.3593. I can spit that out of there. So we do have support at the 0.3471 and resistance at the 0.4241. Slightly oversold. And watching for that volume to come in. And let's move on to LTC, USD, Litecoin. Down 31.12%. So Litecoin seeing a little bit more pain than everybody else. And we're looking at support at the 186.72. And resistance off the 1 hour, I got that one, is 229.28. Climbing into the buy target here, so I will initiate this trade on the bounce back up. Let's move on to LINK, USD, Chainlink. Chainlink, very similar chart here. 26.95 is your support. And looking up at the 34.1589 resistance in the buy target area. I'll zoom that in where you can see the actual, there we go. We are right there at the 29.48. And increasing volume and some room to go till we get up to these moving averages. Let's move on to Stellar, XLM, USD. Pretty much the same thing. 0.4589 is your support level to lean back on, and then we'll get that stop loss up there and ready as soon as we cross into this green area, which is the buy target. If you're unfamiliar with these buy, evaluate, sell, and the Fibonacci's I have going and all the other indicators, over there in the comment section, in the chat section, there's a link for a how-to video, and you can chart that right along with me. It'll show you how to set all this up, and if you like, you can follow along each day and learn to chart these things yourself. If you're trading crypto or stocks or whatever, it'll teach you a lot just charting these things. You get to see, you'll start to recognize trends, and it'll get familiar with you. And commercial is over. Let's move on to Vechain. Vechain got a double bottom off those wicks, so we have the 0.101 support. We'll massage that resistance level. Got to get through that previous high at the 0.1253. As again, we're moving into some buy area here. Like to see this lower high come above there, close up there. Moving forward, we are oversold in the RSI. Very light volume, so keep an eye on that volume. Moving on to FIL, USD. We have support sitting down there. Kind of dip below there. There we are. 69.056. Tight range. Let's look at the 1 hour just to make sure that didn't. Yeah, that is correct. We'd have the 12-hour coming down on us there pretty hard. So resistance 73.046. Moving on to Storj, STORJ USD. 0.9834 is your support. And resistance at the 1.256 on the climb back up. Meanwhile, while I'm going through all these things, I know a lot of people are underwater or struggling. If you have a ticker in there, I need more views, Budge. You're right, Savage Rep. Appreciate you. They're coming in there. STORJ USD 0.983 is your support, and resistance 1.2562 is your resistance. Moving on to IOTA, Internet of Things. We have support 1.213 and resistance up there at the 1.606 for IOTA. Way oversold there, so the RSI is looking strong there. Moving on to COMP, COMP USD. Support 506.59, resistance. Let's change that up. There we go. 572.428. BAT/USD. We have support at the 0.8260, resistance at, there we go, how did that change? 0.9129. Moving on to Ethereum Classic, ETC/USD. 58.798 and resistance 71.820 for ETC, Ethereum Classic. Hitting into that buy target there, so we will be initiating that trade as well. Moving on to MANA/USDC. That's a shitload of letters. Also known as MANA. We have support down there at the, why did that wiggle out of the way? There we are. 0.8310 and then 0.9371 is your resistance level. Let's move on to ZIL/USD. Fell through that support, so ZIL's struggling a little bit. I didn't know why. There we go. 0.11869 and resistance at the 0.15682. That is correct. Moving on to NU/USD. We'll switch over to the 1 hour because I think there's going to be a resistance in there stashed away. There we go. So we have support at the 0.3093 and resistance 0.3323. On to NMR/USD. That one getting down there. Let's see if we can find that support level. NMR support all the way down at the 39.27 and resistance on that previous high 50.447. Some wiggle room on that one. Moving on to GRT, the graph token. We have support 0.771 and resistance 1.05. Moving on to UNI. You ain't got no alibi. 24.120 and resistance is up there to 31.751 for Uniswap. AAVE/USD. And we have support there at the 450.876 and resistance right off this previous high over here on May 13th at 524.219. Moving on to MKR/USD. Support at 3530.79 and that resistance level going to be the 4026.49. Looking at a brand new one here, MATIC. So MATIC/USD, this is on Coinbase. This is brand new we added to the watch list here. And we have support at the 1.8155 and look it up at resistance. And where is that thing? Yeah, 1.88. So we're going to look at 2.05, so roughly the $2 psychological. MATIC in good shape. It's not oversold. It's just right dead center of the RSI. Good volume. So MATIC kind of held up in this sea of red. Moving on to audio, some NFTs for you. We have support 1.347, resistance 1.622. RSI just crossing into the oversold on the 4-hour time frame. Moving on to CHZ/USD. 0.2848 is support level, and I think we're going to have to readjust that one for resistance. Yep, there it is. Resistance 0.300 for CHZ. Moving on to Theta, THETA USD. 6.219 is support, and resistance 7.515 is your resistance level. And let's move on to ENJ USD. We have support at the 1.1902 and resistance at the 1.5452. ENJ oversold, deep in the oversold territory there. So looking for a bounce. It'll come one day. Let's move on to Harmony 1, ONE USD. Holding support at the 0.114 and resistance up there at the 0.1248. And here's what I was talking about here. Bitcoin dominance. As you can see, we've had I'll pull a ruler on that real quick. Right at 13% increase in the Bitcoin market cap from the total market cap. So that tells you that the altcoins have sold into BTC. And that's where the money's going. So let's look at the total crypto market cap. We're down to 1,612 billion, down from the all-time high, what do we get up to? The 2.48 trillion. So, a couple of new ones I've added. The prices are not coming in yet, so I did add EMAX, EMAX, WETH. Going to be tracking that one. And I'm also going to be adding KISHU, KISHU. They're launching that bad boy this weekend. I think there was a picture of it in the Times Square. So lots of hype behind it. So going to be looking to get into that one as well. And then Savage Rep, I appreciate your comments. Yeah, I do need more views, bud, here on YouTube, that's for sure. But we do stream this to other platforms, and there's also a continuation for private viewers after I terminate the YouTube stream. So keep that in mind. And when I'm ready to launch the private access, we'll let you know. But if you're out there on YouTube, you're watching this for free, I thank you very much, and I appreciate you. And if you would hit the like, subscribe, and if you ring that notification bell, you'll get a notification of the live streams. Do stream live every day, 6:45 a.m. Central Time and 6 p.m. every day. And before I go, if you're out there, you got some tickers you'd like for me to chart, have a look at, something you're struggling with, put it in the chat. Let's have a look at it real quick. Happy to do that. I know if you're new to the space, it gets really, really frightening when it drops 35%, particularly if you got in late. And I'll give it a few minutes. I'll keep on talking. And we'll hop over to BTC shorts. Like I mentioned, a lot of people thought the shorts were winning. Well, there's not many short positions in play at the moment, so it wasn't short selling. It was a combination of liquidations. People got over leveraged and they had to sell to cover that leverage, and they also had to sell other assets as well to cover. So that could be a combination of those two. And let's see if I got anything else for you. Well, that's going to do it. Well, folks, thank you for stopping by. I will see you in the morning at the Crypto Morning Show.